There is a quiet hour in every home when the light bends low through the window, dust turns to gold, and a cat moves like a soft shadow across the floor. In that stillness, if you listen closely, something ancient begins to whisper. The language is older than words. It speaks through color, through fur and eyes and small gestures, a language of symbols, of messages carried in silence. When we look at a cat, we often see beauty or companionship. But in the deeper fabric of life, cats have long been seen as spiritual messengers, beings that walk between worlds of light and shadow. Every color they wear seems to carry its own frequency, a spiritual note in God's quiet music. Some say it's coincidence. Others feel it as guidance, a subtle way. Heaven lets us know what the soul is learning or what it needs to heal. White cats, for instance, seem to glow even in dim rooms. Their presence feels like a small candle, a symbol of purity and forgiveness. People often meet them at crossroads after heartbreak, illness, or loss, as if they've been sent to remind us that innocence isn't gone, only hidden under grief. There's a story of an elderly widow named Marjorie who lived alone after her husband passed. For months, she prayed not for comfort, but for a sign that she wasn't forgotten. One foggy morning, she found a white kitten curled beside her garden gate, shivering yet unafraid. She named her Hope. The kitten would rest every morning on the open Bible beside Marjorie's coffee cup. It became their ritual, the Word and the Watcher. Over time, the ache in her chest softened, not through words or answers, but through presence. It was as though the white cat had carried light back into the house. Black cats, too, are bearers of mystery. For centuries, they have been misunderstood, seen as omens by those who fear what they cannot name. Yet in spiritual traditions, black cats are protectors, keepers of intuition and unseen boundaries. To live with a black cat is to live with night itself. Not darkness as evil, but darkness as the womb of creation, the space where prayer and dream begin. They remind us that mystery is not danger. It's the fertile soil of faith. There was once a nurse who worked late-night shifts in hospice care. Each evening, a stray black cat waited outside the facility door. The cat never entered, only sat near the steps watching the stars. The nurse began leaving scraps of food. On nights when a patient passed away, the cat would appear earlier, sitting quietly until dawn. The staff came to see her not as superstition, but as a gentle soul escort, a reminder that endings are not empty, merely quiet. Gray cats seem to live in between neither light nor shadow, but the gentle middle ground where peace takes root. Their calmness often mirrors emotional healing. A gray cat rarely demands. It simply is. They rest near us when life is too loud. They sleep beside us when the mind won't still. Gray carries the color of clouds, of fog, of things half seen, a sacred neutrality that absorbs tension without judgment. In homes where anxiety lingers, gray cats bring stillness like rain softening a window pane. Orange cats, the sunlit souls, come with warmth and laughter. They arrive when the heart needs to remember play. Their presence is often a spark of joy in weary homes. To hold one is to feel that simple truth that life, despite all pain, still wants to shine. In the gentle tapestry of symbolism, orange is the hue of courage and emotional rebirth. Many who adopt orange cats after loss say that they begin to smile again without realizing when it started. It's as though these radiant creatures carry joy in their fur, a daily sunrise in miniature form. And then there are the calicos and tortoise shells woven with many colors like fragments of the earth itself. They embody divine balance, the feminine dance of chaos and order, the alchemy of creation. Calico. Cats remind us that harmony isn't the absence of contrast, but the art of coexistence, white beside black, orange beside gray, each tone needed for the pattern to exist. To watch a calico stretch in sunlight is to see creation blessing itself in quiet motion. Across cultures and centuries, these shades have been read like scripture, symbols of what the spirit is moving through. Egyptian temples once painted white cats beside gold altars, honoring them as the eyes of the goddess Bastet, the guardian of home and sacred joy. In Japanese shrines, the tri-colored maneki neko waves in silent welcome, believed to attract good fortune and protection. In the mystical readings of Edgar Cayce, animals were seen as companions of the soul's journey, bridges of love that never fade, even when bodies do. So when a cat enters your life, whether white or black, fiery orange or cloud gray, pause for a moment before calling it coincidence. Watch where it sits, how it looks at you when it arrives. Perhaps that color carries the answer to a prayer you forgot you whispered. Perhaps the universe paints its messages not in thunder or flame, but in fur and light. There is a lesson hidden in these small, ordinary moments, a quiet truth that the divine rarely speaks loudly. It appears instead in the pattern of a tail brushing your leg, in a gaze that holds you a little too long, in a shadow that follows you until you finally feel seen. The colors of cats are not just pigments of nature. They are reflections of your inner weather, your grief, your longing, your hope taking visible form. And maybe that is what they've been trying to show us all along, that heaven still walks among us softly on 4 small feet. In the next breath, we'll step into the tender mystery of how these cats find us. Why in moments of need or change a certain color seems to appear as if sent. Perhaps it's not we who choose them, but something greater choosing for us through them. There is a tender illusion that we are the ones who choose our cats. We walk through shelters or scroll through photos online, our hearts catching on a certain face, a certain pair of eyes. But anyone who has ever truly loved a cat knows the truth arrives later in the quiet ways they settle into your life, as if they were meant to be there all along. The timing, the color, even the first glance, none of it feels random. It's as though something ancient and kind is still at work, arranging small miracles in fur and breath. Cats are not pets in the ordinary sense. They are listeners of souls drawn not to the surface of who we are, but to the pulse of what we hide. In spiritual thought, many believe that cats sense vibration, the emotional frequency of a human heart. The color they wear may mirror what your spirit needs most: protection, grounding joy, or calm. A white cat may appear when you long for peace. A black one comes when your intuition is awakening. A gray cat finds you when you need stillness. A golden orange cat when life is ready to smile again. These are not rules, but gentle patterns, the same way the tide knows when to rise or the wind knows when to bend a branch. There was once a woman named Lila who had spent months grieving her mother's passing. Her house was tidy, quiet, and painfully colorless. She had stopped playing music, stopped cooking, stopped laughing. One evening after a storm, she opened her back door to the sound of a soft meow. A drenched orange cat stood there, trembling but fearless, as though it had followed the scent of sadness. Lila took him in, wrapped him in an old towel, and fed him a little milk. He fell asleep against her chest, his purr deep and steady. Days passed, then weeks. The cat began to chase sunbeams across the kitchen floor, knocking over potted herbs she had stopped watering long ago. She found herself laughing again, a sound she hadn't made in months. That orange cat, bright as flame, had rekindled what grief had buried. When the cat chooses you, it's not only for comfort. It's often an invitation to feel again, to listen again, to heal what's unspoken. Many stories tell of people who meet their cat precisely when life feels too heavy to bear. And each story, though simple, carries a strange precision. A gray cat curling beside a sleepless woman. A black cat watching by a sick child's bed. A white cat purring against the chest of someone lost in prayer. Science might call it coincidence, but the soul often recognizes a deeper order beneath coincidence, something divine that uses the language of timing. Even in dream symbolism, cats arrive with messages. A black cat in a dream may appear when your intuition is knocking at the door of your awareness. A white cat when forgiveness toward yourself or another is near. A gray cat walking through mist might reflect confusion beginning to clear. These images remind us that spirituality often speaks through the quiet corners of the mind, the places we visit when we sleep, when reason loosens its grip and truth can finally whisper. Edgar Cayce once described animals as translators of energy mirrors of the human condition that reveal our own spiritual development. It's an idea that feels both mystical and tender, that the cat you love is not a possession but a companion soul walking beside you, guiding you through lessons of trust, patience, and acceptance. Cayce's view suggests that animals may volunteer at a soul level to enter our lives precisely when we need them most. If this is true, then every meeting, every rescue, every adoption is part of a divine conversation written long before we were aware of it. Sometimes this sacred exchange shows itself through behavior. Have you ever noticed how a cat will lie on the exact spot where you hurt? When your chest feels heavy, they curl there. When you're restless, they sit on your lap, anchoring you. Studies have shown that a cat's purr vibrates between 25 and 150 hertz, a frequency range known to encourage healing in bones and soft tissue. But beyond biology, it seems to calm the storm inside the heart. The sound is ancient, like the hum of the earth itself, perhaps a reminder that creation still sings through the smallest of things. There's a story told in a hospice center in Vermont. A black cat named Willow lived among the patients, free to wander from room to room. Without fail, Willow would curl up on the bed of those whose time was near. Families began to see her not as a sign of death, but as a symbol of peace, a midwife between this life and the next. When the nurses spoke of her, they did so softly with gratitude. They said she had a way of making the transition less lonely. Perhaps that's the truest form of divine intervention, when love takes shape in fur and a creature sits beside you so you don't have to cross the threshold alone. The deeper lesson in these stories is one of trust. The cat's choice when and how it appears is never rushed. It reflects the rhythm of grace, patient, precise, often surprising. When we stop trying to control who enters our lives, we make space for the mysterious timing of care. The cat reminds us that spiritual connection doesn't need to announce itself. It simply arrives silent as breath, sure as destiny. And so when you find yourself wondering why this cat, this color, this moment, pause. Look beyond the surface. Ask what part of you it has come to comfort or awaken. The answer may not come in words. It may come in a glance, a shared stillness, a heartbeat softened by the weight of fur. Because in truth, the sacred often begins this way, not in thunder, but in touch. Not in prophecy, but in presence. And as we move forward, let us explore what happens when color becomes memory. When the cat's fur becomes a bridge carrying love from this world into the next, showing us that no bond ever truly ends, only changes its shade. There are moments in life when absence feels louder than sound, when the chair stays empty. The hallway too still and the rhythm of a small heartbeat is gone. For those who have ever lost a cat, the silence afterward is almost sacred. It's not an ending, but awaiting a hush between worlds. And in that stillness, something beautiful begins to form, signs, dreams, and memories that feel too precise to be chance. They come as color as timing, as an unseen presence that brushes the edge of the heart. Many who have walked this path speak of the rainbow bridge, that soft field where beloved souls wait until we meet them again. It's a comforting image, a place not of separation but of color. Every shade of fur that once graced our lives seems to live there, blending into light. Some believe that when a new cat appears, perhaps of a different age, but with the same eyes or the same small habit, it is more than coincidence. It's continuity, spirit changing form, love finding another vessel. There was a man named Peter who had a black cat called Luna. She was his companion through his wife's illness and passing, always sitting on his wife's pillow as if guarding her dreams. When Luna died a year later, Peter felt the house lose its heartbeat. But months afterward, a white stray appeared in his garden. She had Luna's same quiet stare, her same small pause before eating. He named her Soul, the opposite of Luna's unanswering moon. I think she came to bring light where the dark once lived, he said. And in some quiet, unspeakable way, he was sure Luna had sent her. White after black, light after night, it's a pattern that repeats like breath. When we are deep in grief, symbols begin to take on meaning, the color of the fur, the timing of the encounter, the way the new cat curls in the same corner once occupied by the lost one. The universe speaks softly, not through grand miracles, but through these subtle repetitions. They tell us that love has not vanished. It has transformed. In spiritual traditions, color is a bridge between the seen and unseen. Every hue carries vibration, a language of the divine. The same way sunlight refracts into a rainbow, the soul refracts its love through these living messengers. Black, the color of mystery, marks protection and depth, those who stand with us in sorrow. White of forgiveness and renewal returns to lift us from pain. Orange, the spark of joy, reawakens laughter in homes gone quiet. Gray whispers of acceptance, the calm that comes when grief finds its place. And calico, woven of many shades, reminds us that wholeness is not the absence of loss, but the harmony born from it. Even the dream world continues the conversation. People often describe dreams of their cats walking through light, healthy, ageless. Sometimes the cat carries a new color or leaves behind a single feather or paw print that wasn't there before. These are not hallucinations of longing. They are messages in symbolic form, the soul's way of showing us that connection never dies. It simply shifts its language. And if you listen closely, the earth itself seems to echo this truth. Every sunset fades from gold to indigo, a daily reminder that endings always fold into beginnings. The fur of your cat, the shade of her eyes, the warmth of her body against your chest, all are pieces of that divine palette. Each stroke, each color is the artist's whisper that nothing loved is ever lost. Once a hospice volunteer described her experience with a gray cat named Mercy, who lived in the care center. Mercy had a habit of climbing into the beds of those near passing, curling by their side until the last breath. She did not cry, did not wail. She simply stayed. The families would later say that the presence of that small gray creature made death less frightening, more human. She was like a prayer, the volunteer said, a living one. That perhaps is the quiet message of every cat who has touched our lives, that love in its purest form needs no words and knows no distance. It travels through time, through light and fur, and dream, returning again and again in different shapes, just to remind us that heaven is never far. So tonight, when your cat curls beside you or gazes at a corner of the room where no one seems to stand, don't dismiss it as nothing. Maybe she's seeing what you can't. Maybe she's reminding you that we are all part of one unbroken circle, that every act of care, every gentle touch, every whispered goodnight ripples beyond the veil. Pause, breathe, and let yourself feel the quiet holiness of that bond. Remember the colors that have passed through your life, the black that stood guard over your tears, the orange that made you laugh again, the white that came when peace returned. Each one was a messenger carrying you closer to the truth that love is the only color that never fades. And if these stories have touched something in you, if they reminded you of a cat you've loved, or a moment that felt too mysterious to explain, take a moment to honor it. Light a candle, whisper their name, or simply sit in gratitude for the time you shared. Then, when you're ready, share that gratitude with others. If you'd like, you can like or subscribe, not just to follow another story, but to help keep these gentle spaces alive for those who still search for meaning through fur and light. And if your heart feels moved, consider leaving a small super thanks or a donation. Every offering goes toward rescuing and caring for stray or abandoned cats, souls who are still waiting for their place in someone's life, still waiting to be the next messenger of light. Because in the end, what we give to them, we give to God, and what they return is nothing less than love itself.